What do you have? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. Weird start today. I had a whole bunch of things to line up and get ready and stuff because we have a special guest today, Rick Ainsworth. He's been with us before,
I have.
and Rick is here because we were having a conversation on Facebook, and coincidence that Rick is working on a video about Sale Cottage Hospital
That's right.
or John Lee or both.
Yeah. Well, it's got all different names, but as it went through its different phases, it was called different things. But you've been working on a project which also involves the man that was the beneficiary to having this building built. So I think it's only fair that you.
Well, it's such a coincidence because on Monday we are. Oh, I'm upside down. One second, let me get right side up here.
You live streaming from Australia, I think, Paul.
I'm live streaming from Australia. That's right. Oh, it's locked. There we go. Edit, transform, rotate 180 degrees. There we go. Um, what we've been doing is this day in history. And another thing we've been doing is name that place. So I show them a photo of some place, and this the last photo I showed. Hello, Asterix. That's our mate Asterix saying hello, Rick.
Yeah. Hello,
Uh,
Asterix.
so the last photo was a photo from New York. So let's see if you can figure out where it is, Rick. I doubt you will, because I know where it is and I can't even remember where it is. So this is a photo somewhere in the world. It's in New York State, and it has to do with this day in history, the 29th of September. And oh, first this day in history on the 29th of September 1829, the London Metropolitan Police, or Bobbies, first patrolled the streets of London. And they are named after Robert Peel, who we were talking about last week sometime. Robert Peel, Bobbies Peelers. So that's how they got the name Bobbies. And they used to wear those top hats like that. And we were talking about Richard Cobden and Robert Peel and the Corn Laws video I'm working on. But this was our Where Is It photo. Any idea, Rick?
It looks like Little House on the Prairie to me, Paul.
Yeah, well, it probably was a little house on the prairie. I don't know if it still exists. It was in New York State, and it is the birthplace of John D. Rockefeller, and
Yes.
he was the world's first billionaire, and he became a billionaire this day in history in 1916, the first billionaire in the world. And of course, we've had many since. So we're just going to watch a little clip about J.D. Rockefeller, and then we'll get to the video about John Lee, and because the title of that video was "How to Be a Billionaire,"
Yeah.
so that was my little thing with that. Okay, so I need to switch out of here. And that's not the one we're watching. We're watching this one. It's just a 5-6 minute video just to give us a little background on J.D. Rockefeller.
Today we'll take a look at John D. Rockefeller. Welcome to the Daily Bellinger. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the FAQs in the description. Don't forget to check out daily.com for content related to many of the bell ringer movies. John D. Rockefeller was a businessman, tycoon, and philanthropist of the Golden Age. He is considered America's first billionaire. And to this day, adjusted for inflation, Rockefeller is considered by many to be the richest man in American history. Considered by some to be a shrewd robber baron, Rockefeller also set the standard for philanthropy, which involves donating to worthy causes to improve the well-being of all people. He ultimately donated nearly half of his fortune to hospitals, churches, and other organizations dedicated to helping others. Rockefeller was born on July 8, 1839, in Richford, New York. He was the second of 6 children of William Rockefeller and Eliza Davidson. His father, William Luke Bill Rockefeller, was a known con artist, traveling from town to town selling herbal remedies claiming to cure all manner of illnesses and ailments. Because of this, Bill was rarely home. It was John's mother, Eliza, who actually raised John. Eliza was a devout Baptist and insisted that John attend church. She also taught John about saving money and the value of hard work. He, too, attended various schools as a child. In 1853, his family moved to Ohio, where he graduated from high school and then took a short business course to learn accounting. In 1855, he landed his first job as an assistant bookkeeper at a fruit and vegetable company in Cleveland, Ohio. Here, Rockefeller became very good at calculating the costs of transporting goods from the farm to the markets. In 1859, John opened his own agricultural products company. Business flourished during the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. Rockefeller secured several contracts with the Union Army to supply products to the Army. His business was doing very well, and he married Laura Celeste Spellman in 1864. Together they had 5 children. As the Civil War drew to a close, Rockefeller realized his product business was in serious decline. He began looking for other investment opportunities. In 1859, oil was discovered in Titusville, Pennsylvania. Rockefeller saw the future in crude oil. He sold his other product investments and began investing in crude oil. However, crude oil from the ground had to be refined or processed before it could be used. So, in 1866, Rockefeller entered into a partnership with Samuel Andrews and Henry Flagler and founded his own oil refining company. The primary use of crude oil in the 19th century was lamp kerosene. However, the refining process produced many other byproducts that were simply considered waste. Rockefeller, however, found a way to sell these waste products, which were used to produce everything from road surfaces to candles. Rockefeller's profits began to soar. In 1870, he severed his partnership with Andrews and Flagler and founded the Standard Oil Company. Rockefeller's Standard Oil quickly became the dominant supplier of crude oil and kerosene for the entire country. Growing railroad companies in the 19th century competed for contracts to transport Standard Oil products to market, and Rockefeller negotiated low prices, demanding rebates from the railroads. These low transportation costs allowed Rockefeller to offer lower prices to consumers, which led to competing oil companies being unable to keep up with Standard Oil's prices. As a result, Standard Oil was able to buy out and take control of smaller oil producers. By the early 1880s, Standard Oil controlled 90% of American oil production. Rockefeller had created a monopoly in the oil industry. A monopoly is a situation where a single company controls essentially all the means of production and supply in a given industry. Standard Oil was the first business trust in America. A trust is a group of interconnected, legally linked companies. Over the rest of the 19th century, Rockefeller amassed a vast fortune, estimated at over $1.4 billion in 19th century dollars. By 1911, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil must be divided into smaller companies in accordance with U.S. anti-corrosion laws. But Rockefeller had already amassed a fortune. Interestingly, despite being a tycoon, Rockefeller did much to help others. He never forgot his Christian upbringing from his mother and attended church regularly. In fact, he was a member of East Street Baptist Mission Church in Cleveland. There, he taught Sunday school and even helped clean the church. Rockefeller financially supported various organizations and helped found numerous schools, such as the University of Chicago and Atlanta Baptist Female Seminaries, now known as Spelman College. Rockefeller invested in medical research and efforts to improve sanitation. It is estimated that he gave away more than $540 million during his lifetime. John D. Rockefeller died on May 23, 1937, at his home in Ormond Beach, Florida. He was 97 years old. I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you for watching.
So there was all kinds of stuff I was going to interject there, but me and Rick got talking about all kinds of stuff. I should have
We always do.
I should have left the mic on because we were talking about all the billionaires around. Is there something you wanted to say about this first, or do you want to watch the video first?
No, I'll do that. I'll probably do it at the end because, could do with a little bit of help with personal stories on a project that me and Paul are going to be working on. So, we'll roll the tape and then we'll do that.
We'll roll the tape?
Yeah.
If you want to interject, just hit the space bar here. If you want to interject or any such thing. Because I have to turn the mic off, otherwise we'll get feedback, right? Where am I? Now, unfortunately, I didn't have time to set up a camera for Rick to be on the screen here. Let's see.
Yeah, I messed it up.
Let's see if I can do that. If I can get Rick on there. What is it called? Overhead camera. There's Rick. So if I copy this, and go over here and paste it, might be able to get you in here, Rick. Give me a minute. Might not be the best setup, but we'll get you in there. All right, there we go. It's
getting a bit tight in here, Paul. Now.
A bit. All right, that's the best I can do on short notice. All right. Okay, we have to mute the microphone, and this is the video about John Lee and the many hospitals that he set up. And I did do I did do a big rant in this video the first time I put it out, but I edited that part out when the oh yes, sorry, I meant to answer your world piece. The cottages were the Great Stone Road, and I thought you were asking about the cottage in the last photo, which of course was John D. Rockefeller's house. Yeah, the cottages were Great Stone Road in Stretford. So yeah, J.D. Rockefeller was quite a philanthropist, and so was this guy, John Lee, and we're going to hear about him right now. Hi, it's Paul from Wicked Acorn. We're on another adventure to see what we can learn about Manchester. Greater Manchester, actually. Today we're in Sale, and in a few minutes we'll be heading over to Altrincham. I'm revisiting something I found about 4 years ago, and I hadn't thought of it until I started preparing this video. This story is about a man who went from being worth £14 million, now that's 1918 pounds, to owning just over $500,000 when he died. As the saying goes, shrouds don't have pockets. You can't take it with you. He didn't lose it. He didn't squander it. He made the world a better place with it. This is the story of John Lee. This is the site of the former John Lee War Memorial Hospital. There's not much left to see of it anymore. Sale and Brooklyn's War Memorial Hospital, originally John Lee War Memorial Hospital, opened in 1921 and closed sometime in the early 90s. It was demolished a few years later, and flats were built on the site. They saved the sign over the door and built it into the wall here. By the time war broke out in 1914, John Lee was 30, a well-respected businessman working in the cotton waste industry. As seriously injured servicemen returned home from the battlefields and the ravages of war became more evident, John and his wife decided to do what they could to relieve the suffering they witnessed. They purchased Townfield House in Altrincham with the intention to fix it up to accommodate 100 wounded officers and to lend it to the Red Cross for the duration of the war. It was opened on the 28th of April 1917. Afterwards, the idea was for it to be used by disabled soldiers. Now, this wasn't one of those Downton Abbey hospitals where they just provided a place for the soldiers to sleep while they recovered. This was a state-of-the-art facility. The hospital contained 3 floors with an electric lift, 10 wards and a spacious recreation room, including separate accommodations for the staff. The grounds were also special. Have you seen this? Have you seen the budgie cage?
No, I never saw the budgie cage.
That's in John Lee Park, and it's a fantastic park. And they got this used to be a lot bigger, people tell me, and they used to have all different kinds of birds and creatures and chickens. They even had chickens in there apparently.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I used to walk around there during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, you take the dogs and whatever. Other people doing similar things, having a walk around there.
I think this video was before COVID originally. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of it, I did a big rant about, well, I'll tell you when it was, but I don't remember when that was when Richard Branson went into space. So was that during lockdown?
I'm not entirely sure, you know.
I can't remember either. Chatters, can you tell us when that was? When did Richard Branson go into space? Because he came on with a big rant. It was shocking. It disgusted me. He came on with a big rant about, you know, he'd gone up into space and it changed the way he viewed the world, and we got to stop polluting the planet and putting all these carbons in the atmosphere.
That's,
which he had just done to a great, incredible extent.
Sometimes they need to stop and think before, you know, put the foot on the ball before they actually kick it.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, that's Sir Richard. He became a very rich man in the way he did business. But, you know, in the public domain, you know, when you say anything, they'll never forgive you.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I cut all this out after, because I re-released this video on John Lee's birthday last year. So I cut out all the Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos space race stuff. But it was interesting, the kerosene lantern, you guys call it paraffin, I believe, paraffin lantern.
Tilly lamps.
It puts out more black carbon. The two things are equal, like Branson's flight. Oh my God. Anyway, if you want to see it, it's still there on the channel, my rant version of this video, where I rant on about kerosene lanterns and our space billionaires. All right, let's have a look. Laid out to include a large vegetable garden, which helped supply the hospital. Apart from the government allowance for patients' maintenance, the hospital was entirely funded by John Lee. When it was no longer required by the Red Cross Society, it was to continue as a home for disabled sailors and soldiers at John Lee's expense. John Lee continued to finance the maintenance costs, which included the purchase of 5 ambulances and their ongoing running expenses. Advert. So I was just telling Rick about our problems with adverts. I got almost got a copyright strike over an advert. The music in an advert. It's wicked. Where are we? I was just going to stop again there just to That's the
That's the beauty of live streaming. The gremlins.
yes. There's lots of gremlins. So this is one of the ambulances he bought, and it's the first in sale. He bought two, and that's one of them there.
That would have been based near Sale Town Hall, wouldn't it?
I would think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Back of Sale Town Hall, yeah. The driver's scene here was W. Burke. Later, John Lee donated his father's former home, Woodbourne, here in Brooklands, together with 8 acres of land. Samuel Brooks, who we've talked about before on this channel, the namesake of Brooklands, built 4 large detached houses in 1861 on the new Brooklands Road, one called Fernacre, another Merseylee, Belmore, which is the only one which remains today, and finally Woodbourne. I presume this is the house in question. The original brochure held by Trafford Studies clearly calls it John Lee Memorial Hospital, Woodbourne, Brooklands. But here we have Lyndon Lee Auxiliary Military Hospital, Brooklands, Cheshire. This photo is labeled the opening of Lyndon Lee Red Cross Hospital, Brooklands Road, by the Duke of Connaught, and that, most definitely, is John Lee. Lyndon Lee was apparently opposite to Woodbourne. The names of these buildings and associated photos are a bit mixed up, I think, and it may be something for someone to investigate. But suffice it to say, John Lee had a hand in them and was quite free with his money to help in this cause. He financed the conversion and fitting out and maintenance of what came to be known as the John Lee Memorial Hospital. Records show it as opening in 1921 as the John Lee Memorial Hospital, and later changing its name to the Sale and Brooklands War Memorial Hospital in 1928. Some people have referred to it as the Sale Cottage Hospital, but again, the records are confusing. I'll leave it to someone else to try and set the record straight. Leave a comment. So this might be something for us to look into, because I can't figure out, for the life of me, I can't figure why there will be 2 hospitals with the same name.
That's the confusing thing, because inadvertently, I was working on a project I can see you've currently worked on, but I'm getting this conflict of names for the same place, you know, and some people will know it as different. So I was doing it under Sale Cottage Hospital. Now, a lot of people that in the area were actually born at Sale Cottage, and I was looking for any personal stories of, you know, anyone that's, you know, was born there. People have sent me extracts of, you know, operations they've had there. But any of the wartime stories would be great, because, you know, that's why it was actually built, and you know, those horrific 1914, 1918 battles across France.
Absolutely,
Belgium.
man. Those stories,
Horrific.
If there's any of those stories out there, because that stuff is about to disappear.
It is. You see,
anybody that age is well up there in age now.
Our media likes to focus on the bad things, but if there's any good luck story, because that's what our media's missing right now. You know, it focuses on war, it focuses on poverty, it focuses on, you know, something bad happening to someone. And what happened, you know, what they forgot to do is tell good luck stories. You know, if I was going to work and I saw a good luck story in the news, it just makes you feel good, because, you know, just being a person, and you know, see another person's well-being bettered. You know, it makes you feel good, rather than looking at bombings and shootings. We all need good luck stories.
We do.
You know, just to tell, you know, did someone convalesce there? Did they make it better? Did they have a family? Is there any living relatives that could tell a story about the Sale Cottage Hospital? Would be great. So you could just drop in the comments for Paul. We'd definitely love to look at that and, you know, share it with the open community.
I was just looking at myself in the photo there. I have the same shirt on. I don't have the same T-shirt, but I have the same button-up shirt. Yeah, that's it's coming up here now about the shell shock, the neurasthenia,
Mm.
because I can't figure out if it says the John Lee Hospital. Now, the one in Altrincham was called the John Lee Hospital as well. So it's like there's like three hospitals with the same name at the same time. That sounds a bit suspicious to me, but maybe it's so. At any rate, one of these John Lee hospitals specialized in shell shock. What shell shock they called it at the time, and the doctors call it neurasthenia, PTSD. We call it, of course, and it was really people that were suffering from this were really they thought they were cowards and
Yeah,
malingerers, and
yeah, they did.
so it's really sad what these guys went through, and it's like they talk about the guys that came back from the Vietnam War getting spit on and
Yeah,
all that, right? It's the same kind of thing, right?
it is. But veterans in America, it's totally reversed now. If you're a veteran, they thank them. And this
Yeah.
country's got a long way to go to get to that point because every single one of them should be thanked. I sleep in bed at night because of what they did, and not a single one of them ever let me down. So I have the greatest respect for them. But yeah, you're right about the shell shock, how they were actually treated with that, treated as cowards. A lot of these were PALS regiments. So to see your mate that you grew up with
Yeah.
killed, mutilated, and have that not affect you, I would not understand that, and it just wasn't looked at. There's the traditional stiff upper lip, get on with it, but I don't think anyone could actually live with that and have that scar with them every single day.
Mm. And that's the wonderful thing about John Lee. There was only one other hospital in the country. Let's just get through this bit because it's really important that he recognized these guys and took care of them because, well, we'll play it because there's only one other hospital that actually took care of people that had PTSD. Was specifically designed to try and Dale Cottage Hospital, but again, the records are confusing. I'll leave it to someone else to try and set the record straight. Leave a comment if you have any insight into this. At any rate, one of the hospitals he financed, supposedly this one, was specifically designed and equipped to help servicemen returning from battle who were suffering from neurasthenia. This was more commonly known as shell shock, but doctors used the term neurasthenia to avoid the stigma that was attached to shell shock, as many thought them to be malingerers and cowards. Of course, today it would be called post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. The only similar hospital in the country at the time was in Golders Green, London. John Lee intended to offer Altrincham Council money to purchase the derelict Oldfield Hall estate from the Countess of Stamford. The large area of land adjacent to Townfield House was to provide a recreational facility for the occupants of the John Lee Hospital. The land cost £7,000 and spread over 12 acres. It was hotly debated in the local press at the time because it was desired by the council for returning soldiers as a home for heroes. The Countess of Stamford said it had always been the desire of the late Lord Stamford that his Oldfield estate become the property of Altrincham, to be maintained as a park. She wanted Altrincham to benefit from John Lee's generous offer, so instead a gift of equal value from the Earl of Stamford's estate would take the form of land for workmen's dwellings, equal in value to the Oldfield estate. World Peace, if you have any information on that, send it over. I was thinking at the time, it's so confusing because, yeah, there are two hospitals right across from each other. There was Woodbourne and Lyndon Lee, and they're right across from each other on Brooklands Road.
Those are the names I've got down there.
Yeah.
Down as John Lee Memorial Hospital, 1921 to 1928.
Yeah.
Salem Brooklands War Memorial Hospital, 1929 to 1947. Salem Brooklands Hospital to 1948 to 1957, and then back to Sale and Brooklands War Memorial Hospital. So they've obviously used the name on the plaque, but most people would know it as Sale Cottage Hospital. And it was also known for general operations, appendix, broken bones, etc. So it was well used in this community, you know, as a hospital before places like Trafford General opened up, and these hospitals then become obsolete because all the latest equipment is going to be in these new hospitals. And we all know that Park Hospital in Flixton Elmston is the first NHS hospital in the country, and long may it last. I think you know, to be treated without paying, not like the American system where it's all about insurance, where money gets in the way of someone's health. This country should be really proud of the NHS, the staff that are in the NHS, and the work they did. I wouldn't be here without the help of the NHS, so I won't elaborate on that, but they looked after me, and I've got the greatest respect for anyone that works in the medical and, you know, all the staff that are behind it, right down to the cleaners who clean the floor. You know, just a great tradition of NHS we've got in this country.
Just responding to world peace here. The White House. So the house we showed there was, where are we? 542. The house I showed there, I don't know if I'll be able to find it now. This one here.
Yeah.
So this one here is Lyndon Lee.
Yes.
This is Lyndon Lee. It's not there anymore. It's he built, Samuel Brooks built this house, not by himself now, mind you, but Samuel Brooks built this one, Woodbourne, which is not there anymore, which would have been on the other side of the road. The pub there, what's that one called?
Which one? The Brooklands. The Little Bay or the Brooklands?
Damn, I can't remember the name. Anyway, he built 4 of these mansions, and if you go along Woodbourne Road now, there's they've just cut down all the hedge and taken down the fence.
Seen that.
So that's on the opposite side of, what's the name of that road coming in? Woodbourne.
Yeah, Woodbourne.
On the opposite side of Woodbourne. So I've been inside there. I had to meet someone there, and I imagine that was the same kind of house. And man, that is one beautiful building inside.
I've looked at that when I've gone past it. Now you can actually see it. You know, they've done a lot of
Yeah, you couldn't see it before, yeah.
It would have some story and some history.
Stunning house.
About it. You know, whoever lived there originally wasn't short of money, and the man who built it wasn't short of money.
Well, Lyndon Lee and Woodbourne would have been the same. The Belmore, that's the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah. Anyway, they must have been absolutely stunning houses, and they turned them into hospitals for guys coming back from the trenches, right? Anyway, so that's Lyndon Lee there. Woodbourne was on the other side of Brooklands Road to this place. Neither exist today. So where were we? Somewhere here. We'll just get to the end of the story of John Lee. So this is what becomes interesting about this, and I tied it into the guys doing their space race thing. You know, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson racing into space. And back in the First World War, all these guys were rushing to be the best philanthropist, right? Who could donate the most money to the poor veterans coming back from the war?
We spoke about that. I think sometimes when you get rich, your circle of friends gets smaller because you're all about people you can trust. So it's, you know, you want to be seen in a good light, like most people that donate to people. They want to be seen in a good light. And I was actually going to go on something else when you talk about the space race. Right, so everyone's got apps on their phones where you can look at stars and stuff like that. I've been looking at mine, and it actually shows you all the satellites, because I've been for years, bored on my family with crick necks. I've looking up in the sky and looking at satellites going past. But when you actually look at some of them, it's the remains of rocket boosters and things that got them into space, and they're still actually circling.
Space junk.
Yeah, they're actually still circling the Earth right now. So, that is probably corporate fly tipping into space. But eventually, that will, if that continues to happen, that would cause a problem, because even the smallest bolt would, travel at God knows 15,000 miles an hour straight into another object. But I didn't mean to digress then. But
no, that's what we're all about here.
it was when I was away on holiday last week. I was just putting my camera up there like you do and looking at the stars.
Have you ever seen the International Space Station?
Many times.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Many times. I've been to the Brook Pub here, and I'd have the time that it was coming past. It comes, it's in the right area. It comes every hour and a half. That's how long it takes to circumnavigate.
Is that all?
Yeah, and it does, as it comes over the crest, you see this really, really bright light.
Yeah.
You think, how have I missed that? And then as it goes over and it comes into the shadow, it just completely disappears. But it's like someone's shining a really bright light. So if you, it's quite a spectacle. So if you ever go onto your Sky Map, or see another app is called See a Satellite Tonight, you can see when it comes over, but you'll also see the amount of Starlink satellites. Some of them will travel, one after one in a line. It looks like a pearl necklace in the sky, or you'll get them going off at different tangents. You wouldn't believe how many satellites are up there, but especially on a clear sky, as we're getting into the darker nights now, you just see them.
Yeah, they're amazing, absolutely amazing. I remember the first time I saw the space station was way back many years ago. First when it went up, and there's a dedicated tracker site for the space station.
Yeah, there is.
And I went and I wonder where it is, and I went in. Oh, it's supposed to be going over me right now. So I run out, and it is pretty amazing. This, like, with the naked eye, you can just make out the solar panels. Like,
yeah,
you can. It's not just a blob in the sky. You can. There's shape to it.
Yeah, as it reflects off the sun, as it goes over the corona of the Earth, it becomes really, really bright, and people are living on board that. They're spending months on board that. It's a joint project between several countries, but it's just an amazing feat that you can actually live on that. I'd personally like to hear the birds and fresh air myself, but it would put the people that think the Earth is flat into agreement that it is actually round.
Mir, yes, I remember Mir. What was the other one called? The
first one?
Skylab.
Oh, Skylab.
Yeah. Anyway, we love to digress here, but the point of the digression was that going into space certainly has its merits, but these billionaires back in the early 1900s were really trying to help out their fellow man with their money. Wouldn't you believe I'd stop it and it starts a commercial?
Another advert.
Oh boy.
I have that at night when I'm watching something. You'll pause it and think, right, I'm just going to go this. Just after an advert, get back, put it on again, then it puts another advert on there.
Yeah. All right.
The estate was considered to be one of the most beautiful private parks in Cheshire. The land given by the now Earl of Stamford on the occasion of his coming of age would be laid out in Garden City lines. 400 houses for working people were added in the 1920s. This area is what we now know as the Oldfield Brow Estate. The council were delighted to accept John Lee's offer, and his donation came with no condition other than that the land be known as Lee Park in the memory of his father, and kept as an open space forever. The park is now in the care of the Friends of John Lee. Instead of providing his employees with free cups to pee in December 1917 he gave a 20% bonus on a year's wages to all the employees of John Lee Limited, so they could invest in war bonds and to meet the increased cost of living. John was made a baronet in 1918, becoming Sir John Lee of Altrincham. Lee was rewarded for war service and contributing to all war charities, including a very large sum to the Ministry of Pensions, which provided for institutional treatment for disabled soldiers. He also donated to the King's Fund for disabled soldiers, gifting £50,000. It was estimated in 1918 alone, his donations to the war effort amounted to over £300,000. His generous financial gifts and personal involvement, together with his wife,
I think I do have the same shirt on. It's the exact same. I am a fashion icon. This video is like 5 years ago.
provided numerous servicemen the best available care, support, and comfort they justifiably deserved as a result of their service to the nation. John was elected as a Member of Parliament in 1922. He held the seat until he retired from politics in 1945. In 1930, he gave a generous donation of £10,000 to provide work for hundreds of unemployed textile workers. The gift was in response to those affected by continued trade depression. John Lee died the 28th of July, 1959. On his death, Sir John's estate was valued at £590,985, 1 shilling and 8 pence. A very tidy sum, but he had used the overwhelming majority of his money to make life better for his fellow man. All right, I admit it, the thumbnail's clickbait, but in fairness, this video is not about how to become a billionaire. It's about how to be one.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, those guys were really taking care of their fellow man, you know.
Yeah, but if you looked at how much he spent, was it £300,000? His estate's worth 5.5. Well, that's a huge chunk.
He started out with what was 30s? I can't remember, with 36 million or something.
Yeah, that's just small change in the back pocket of a billionaire.
Back then, I can't remember the number, but he would have been a billionaire by today's standards. John Lee would have been a billionaire, and £500,000. He died with £500,000, so he gave away the overwhelming.
That's just that's just
of his fortune. Just gave it away.
That's just
incredible.
Incredible. So, what projects are you working on next, Paul?
I'm trying to get the Sail Cruising Club video finished. That's just about done, and it was really difficult to do because Arthur Murray is one of the members that spoke to me down there, and we had this fantastic conversation, like you do, right? Like you get into a conversation and it goes all over the map. And it was a really interesting conversation. Like, for instance, we got into talking about the wake of the rowers.
Yeah.
You know, the rowing shells?
Yeah.
When they go by and you're in having a cup of tea in your canal boat, you're like this. From those little tiny shells. Like they have like an unwritten agreement between them. When they go past, they have to like do half oar or something like that, right? But that tiny little racing shell rocks those boats like that, those big canal boats. Because the canal is not very deep, right? Anyway, this is what I'm talking about. So I got into a conversation with Arthur Murray, and it goes all over the map. It's like, how do I edit this down to a 5, 6, 7 minute video, right? We talked for like an hour.
Yeah.
On camera.
It's like when we did the Quaker video. That was there was a hell of a lot more conversation in that, and I had to shorten it down to the historical content.
You should use some of it for something else, like make a video from. I mean that's what I intend to do with the conversation with Arthur, because It was such a great conversation,
I have,
and like even though it's unrelated to what I wanted to make the video about, it was a great conversation. So I'm sure people would love to hear more about Quakers because they keep coming up, man.
yes, they do.
The Quakers had their hand in everything, everything in the world. Like in the United States, they were very influential and
Yeah,
all
exactly.
kinds of inventions and philanthropy and very industrious people.
Yeah, one day I'll publish it. I've left it unlisted. Like you say, I've got a few unlisted videos. I've just released one on Andy Rourke from the Smiths, and if you've not seen it,
That was a great video.
yeah,
That was nice.
It was more of a personal because I used to see them. I didn't put everything about it in that video, you know, because we used to walk past, used to see him. I know we had three brothers, but I only ever really remember seeing two of them looking down, and the stories of them playing on that carport and the children where the field is. They used to watch this band.
Yeah.
Little did they know it was the Smiths. You know, if that would have happened today, I think you wouldn't have even got anywhere around there for a traffic jam. You know,
Yeah.
it's such you know, it was such a personal story because she actually known him and had met him, but as a small child, I say small, 12 years of age. It was yeah, it was. I always wanted to have that conversation with him. Do you remember me, etc. But it wasn't to be. He was the greatest bass player of my time and in my influential music time. If it wouldn't have been for that, I probably would never listen to the Smiths. But I do, and lots of people sent me some nice, really kind comments about that. And you know, please, you know, if you've got anything you want to ask, just you know, just ask me. There was in that video there was a mural on the wall, and I wondered what it was, and apparently it was painted by the mother of a.
Oh yes, I saw that comment.
Yeah, and it's still there.
A Joni Mitchell painting,
yeah.
Wasn't it? A copy of a Joni
Yeah.
Mitchell painting. Yeah.
And it's papered over now. So
Yeah.
you know, thanks for letting that getting that mystery done as well. So, but I'm working on a number of things now because I work in the car industry, and it's the end of September, and the new 75 plate came out. So I've got that out of the way now. So I've got a little bit more time to do some more local stuff because I like to do the local stuff around Sale. And if anyone's got any suggestions that me and Paul could look at, because there's so many different things to do. You know, every single headstone in Brooklands or Sale Cemetery all can write a book.
Oh,
and
there's a story behind
every one of them. So if anyone's got anything they want us to look at, absolutely, you know, let's do it, and let's share some of these memories and share some of this history with our younger people as well, because when that's shared, it's passed down, and you know, it doesn't just disappear out of memory. So over to you.
No, I don't have YouTube Premium, and I get paid 0.000000001 per advert. So, and yes, I don't know if I have any. I may have at one time had a pair of cowboy boots that old, but I left a lot of clothing behind when we moved here, and I'm sure it's all gone now. Used to spend most weekends with the Smiths in Hale in the early '80s, says World Peace.
Thank you, World Peace, for that. It's they were well known within the area as well, you know.
And he or she, I'm not sure if it's a he or she, I think it's a he, also bought a Ford Zodiac off Morrissey. He used on an album cover.
Did he? Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. I know he was from Stretford. He was born in Davyhulme, so they were local, and they used to practice down in Ashton upon Mersey. I like the carport story, me, and it's actually not a story. It's actually did happen, and I always wondered what the neighbours thought about this music coming across. But I think it strategically did it because where the carport was, it went over to it was just wasteland. Now it's the it's the Carrington Spur, but back then it was just wasteland.
World Peace is asking what school you went to.
I started off at Furs Road, and I went to Sale West. So I did my time at Sale West Secondary School off Manor Avenue, and I've done a video because all that time I was there, I never realised that it was called Manor Avenue because there was an actual manor on it. I've done a video on that if you ever want to have a look at that, but it took me a long time to realise why it was called Manor Avenue. But further up at the top of Manor Avenue, where the new houses were, you can see Barracks Lane. Well, that'll give you another clue to why it's called Barracks Lane. I do a little bit of metal detecting, as people know, and I was metal detecting not far off Barracks Lane, and I found a grenade. Had to call the police, who brought the bomb disposal down to do it. So yeah, everywhere around there, it's got its own little story. Which school did you go to?
Somebody was Boohoo Cecil Avenue. Somebody was because one adventure I want to do is that beach over Liverpool way, where all the rubble is from the
yes,
from the Blitz
yeah,
over that way.
Dumped it, yeah.
And so I mentioned that in a previous live stream, and somebody was saying that there's a lot of unexploded ordnance on that beach as well.
Yeah,
which of course there would be, right? All the shit they dropped from the sky. All of it didn't explode, and it just got bulldozed into a pile and trucked off to the beach. So
same with the Thames in London. It's exactly the same. It's got, where's the best place to get rid of it? Outside, out of mind. Dump there. It all comes back to haunt us in the end where it is.
Yeah.
Brush it under the carpet doesn't work. But it was wartime, and people wanted to get back on with their lives really, really quickly. So get rid of the old, dump it there, and put it there. So the later generations will always suffer from ordnance. It's like they've got landmines all over Africa. It's just the same thing, which is war. War is not pretty.
Mm. Did you all read Michael Price's On the Ryder Cup? No, I don't know what you're talking about. But we're working on a video about the Ryder Cup, and that should have been finished by now, but that's another one I'm working on. That Rick and I were up looking at his grave there. Jeez, when was that? That was like 4 or 5 months ago.
And
it was a beautiful, hot, sunny day.
Yeah. The nights aren't drawn in like they are now. So I was in the plough last night, and the Ryder Cup was on, and I mentioned that the founder of the Ryder Cup is buried at Ashton upon Mersey,
right next to the golf course.
Yeah, right there. And in all fairness, the majority of them knew that. So, but it goes to show you watching something that's broadcast in America and it happened in your hometown.
He lived on Broad Road. The most interesting thing, and we did a couple of 3 live streams, I think, about Ryder Cup, going back if you want to have a look. The most interesting thing about the Ryder family is the seed business.
Yeah.
Because his father basically invented the seed packet right here in Sale.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. When I saw that video, I thought, something to be proud of. That
it is.
There's lots of things that have been invented in Sale, and JP Jules is one of them. You eat any bit of food around the world, and it's got his
name on it.
Got his name on it.
Yeah, and
that's on Broad Road in Sale. So we, people they say we've got a lot of history and a lot to be proud about. But when I read that about seed packets, because you see seed packets all over the world and wherever, and for it to have originated in Sale is just another feather in the cap of the history of the area.
Yeah, his mother and father are buried in Ashton upon Mersey. The house, the most well-known house they lived in, is Stowey, next to B&M across from the leisure centre there. So down that way was where they had their nursery, where they grew their whatever they grew. It's difficult to find any information. I looked at his biography, but the whole Sale section of his biography is very limited because they want to get to the Ryder Cup. They want to get to the Ryder Cup part of the story. That's what he's famous for. But the whole seed business was his real claim to fame, and it started right here in Sale.
Unbelievable. No, like I said, it's got a lot of history, and well, repeating myself, there must be a story out there that someone would like us to cover. I've got loads of bits that we're working on, but if anyone's got anything that they want us to investigate, I have got genealogists that are good friends and researchers who are very, very good friends as well, that could sometimes unlock something. But history becomes personal, it becomes interesting. That's what we've always found. If you can't really engage with someone once it becomes personal, then they engage with you.
Rick Pratt says NKY. Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it does. Rick?
Michael Riley. Yes, I was talking to Michael Riley on Facebook a couple days ago, and he mentioned George Cogswell.
Yeah.
So I got to get talking to George, because part of the Ryder Cup story that I haven't figured out yet is his biography says his father, so Senior, Samuel Ryder Senior, who was buried in Ashton-upon-Mersey, designed one of the most beautiful parks in Sale. And I can't figure out, there is no park other than Worthington Park that it could be. But Michael mentioned the Botanical Gardens.
Yeah, just up the road here.
So it might have been that. The Botanical Gardens were the Sale Hotel. What's that place called now?
At the Sale.
It's called the Sale?
It's called the Sale now. They've really done it up well. It's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've been in there. I was actually went in there to see George Cogswell speak. And
yeah, George is amazing. He's just a fountain of information, and you ask him, and he's very, very knowledgeable. He's probably the historian in the area to go to. Very well connected, and very, very supportive of our armed forces as well. Just the same as me, has an affinity to help and remember. He had his own personal collection of war memorabilia. I think lots of people have seen that, and George is just amazing. He tells great stories of the Sale Hotel. Yeah. Also, he used to do tours of Brooklands as well. He's very, very knowledgeable about the graves in Brooklands. Yeah. So I don't know if George still does them tours, but it's he did it with school children. They take a group of them round. It's just getting the knowledge of where.
That's why we do what we do. Yeah. It's got to be passed on. It's no good. It's no good in a suitcase under your bed. It's yes, large pleasure grounds once. Yeah, that's right. And Michael Riley mentioned it might have been the Botanical Gardens around the Sale Hotel. So it's possible. Actually, I did. That's what George was speaking on when I went to see him at the Sale Hotel, talking about the Botanical Gardens at the Sale Hotel. And he didn't mention the Ryder Cup connection. So now that I think about it, anyway, it's a bit of a mystery which park he designed, because the only park that existed at the time was Worthington.
Yeah, that's right.
But he died in 1905, 1904. It was the same year the park opened, he died, Samuel Senior. So it's a bit of a mystery, but it's one that I'd like to find out the answer to, because it's not in the history of Worthington Park. So and they just had a blue plaque. They just had an anniversary this year, I believe. 120 years, I guess.
120 years, I would have said, yeah.
It was possible to climb the Sale Hotel turret tower for a panoramic view. Yes, it probably still is. I
would have said so, yeah.
She's saying for a fee it was possible to go up there at one time. I have not been up there.
been halfway up there. You've got the function rooms that they had.
I think George in that talk he did had
Yeah.
photos from the tower. George was pretty instrumental in saving that place.
He's been instrumental in a lot of things around Sale. Getting the War Memorial put up in Walton Park.
That's right.
All sorts of things. He's very dedicated to the area, and any interaction I have with him is really, really knowledgeable. And he's a get things done man. I wouldn't get in George's way if he wants to do something. He just gets it done, and my hat take it off to him.
Well, that's a good note to end on because we can go on all night about this stuff. So here's the George.
It's to George.
All right. That's all I have to say today. Oh, our photo for next time. Don't want to give this away, but our next one, I'm just going to have to go to the countdown here. Excuse the music for a second. Let's see if I can turn this off. Yes, I can. I've been yammering on and I was muted there. This is our next Where Is It photo. Ashton Lane, World Peace got it already.
Yeah.
Yes, that is our next Where Is It photo. Oh, I muted the wrong thing. I muted myself instead of the video. Yes, so that's what Rick and I were here just laughing about. Yes, we all know where this is. I was going to say it's in Sale, but where in Sale? If you've watched the live stream before, that's the countdown to the...
I always wondered, there are some parts of that structure, if anyone knows where any of that structure has gone. Is it someone's garden? Is it a focal thing?
Probably.
In someone's garden. It just be nice to know.
Yep. There's so much of it missing, isn't there?
Yes.
Anyway, yes, that is... Anyway, we're going to look at that video tomorrow. And because tomorrow is Sir William Cunliffe Brooke's birthday. And Rick and I did a video all about this. So the cat's out of the bag. There you go. No more to say. Except see you in the next one. Thanks for dropping by, Rick.
Hey, no, any time, and
That was,
any feedback you can give, and anything you want us to look and investigate, just put it in the comments box, or just DM myself or DM Paul.
sounds great.
Okay, my pleasure.
All right, buddy.
All right, mate.
We're shaking hands here off camera.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.